see Tombstone being okay this game, at least. In the right situation, if the birds are busy or are killed off or, you know.
Is this when you wait for like the Pugna pickups? They can actually, can you still decrep? That wasn't patched down, right?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember there being like decrep or Tombstone, and I don't know if that.
I think you can again, but I'm not sure.
It's bounce back and forward, right? But anyway, like maybe that's one of their options, but it's a little squishier in the lanes. But the choice, it's going to be a Lycan from Winstrike. So looking for a very fast, tanky, heavy damage dealing core. This feels a little late to come online.
Lycan is really good against Visage because you can't get slowed by the Grave Chill, and all of the summons that you have just remove the
Gravekeeper's cloak?
The cloak really quickly. It got nerfed from 50 to 40 damage threshold. I'm not sure if that matters for the Necrobook units or the Wolves, but I do think it actually might make a difference for Lycan in terms of piercing through that cloak. And once Visage loses cloak, Lycan eats him alive. So fast. Like, we're talking 2 or 3 seconds, and Visage can't get away. The downside, however, is that Lycan is not really the strongest laner, so when it comes to IG's lineup, they might be able to get off to a good head start, and we know what this kind of lineup can do with just balling up and going for the push, so gotta be a bit careful with that. Good news for Iceberg on the Winstrike side is it looks like he will likely be able to get a good matchup for the Necrophos on most likely mid lane. I think more often than not, that's Necro's weakest lane, but in this game, his matchup is either Visage, which is fine, Dragon Knight, which is great, or Mirana, which is bad. So that's the one he needs to avoid.
The fact that XXS is on the DK, though, probably means that we're seeing him on a side lane, and aggressive's Mirana. Unlikely he goes mid.
Have IG started putting SRF more in mid and XXS more on a side lane, or?
I don't know if that's actually switched around or not.
Because XXS is a mid player, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, SRF is classically their side lane player. But XXS used to be a fantastic offlaner for this team.
He was the big offlaner. So yeah,
super good on Mag.
Yeah, I went back in history in my brain.
Yeah, but it makes sense though. When you have a player like that who's played mid, and you know in this patch how much it's about swapping lanes around and stuff. So if they see it as a good side lane Dragon Knight game, why not? If they can avoid that Necro matchup, I think he's very happy. Because in my mind, this is a super Necro favored lane. Like, he's gonna crush him. Yeah, you gotta be wary of that.
We'll see how confident Aggressive is to actually take that mid, but all right, bounce out into the lanes. Where are we gonna go? Aggressive's headed north. XSS will be the mid, and SRF's gonna be the off lane with Q, the SD support. And you've got the clockwork from Bobica already heading down towards the bottom lane. He's ready to fight. He's going 3 mangoes, 1 stout shield, and 6 tangos. Ready to take all the damage in the world. Top lane, non grata. It'll be the Weaver going with No Fears ES. Undying. We'll see where he'll end up. He's just roaming for now. Iceberg will be the mid Necro, and then down on bottom lane is Silence Lycan. And I always worry about a Lycan early on. Like, how do you always get a good start with a Lycan? Like, there's so many games of a Lycan where you can just get pressured out of the lane.
Yeah, it's not... He doesn't have the worst matchup this time. I think he's pretty good against Clockwork, actually. Just, you stay alive with your Feral Impulse, you heal up over time. Clockwork doesn't have the highest damage output as a support until he's level 3. I mean, saying that is not actually true, because Battery Assault is amazing if you get to run it the whole time, but do you in this lane? I don't think that's going to happen. But once he's level 3 and has both Cogs and level 2 Battery, it will be pretty strong. The Visage, however, who looks to be going off lane, is not really that strong of a laner either. And that's good news for Silent. I think he's actually going to be very okay against this lane that he's facing.
So we're going to see a straight trade-off. Bobica Cogs up. Silent at least. Nope. And nope. And doesn't get the bounty rune.
Classic.
Torn it away. It's a 2-for-2 trade-off. Everyone gets revealed, and Bobica knows, Silent knows he's going to need a little bit of help. Silent's been, like, he's always like that like the silent achiever, not underachiever, the silent achiever. I actually, it wasn't even intending to pun. This is just the point I'm reaching. But there's not that much fuss ever made about Silent when he plays.
I'd agree. He's just very solidly gets the job done most of the time.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the most flashy moments, and I guess that's why. But you don't have to play flashy to win games. You need to do your job, and you need to do it well. And Silent generally does exactly that.
Yeah, he's standing his ground against Bobica. He knows if he just walks away, the Cogs are going to just burn him off. Okay, Cogs going to burn him anyway. No. no farm for you. Quick fortification out from both sides. I think they're trying to play around with this mid lane as XSS was getting pretty aggressive against Iceberg. And No Fear and Q are deciding to go for a little bit of a roaming trip through the dire jungle. It's actually going to open up for the rotation. No Fear. He doesn't want to fissure block in. There's nothing really for Iceberg to capitalize on if he does so.
You still got to do something, right? Like, why not? You're going to harass him a little bit. If he doesn't see any play at all, I guess he could go top. But I think, as far as kill potential goes, Fissure is really bad against Mirana in a side lane. He'll just leap across. Use one leap on the Fissure if he needs to, and Nongrata should not be able to find any kills up top.
Yep. Bobica's looking for an opening, but he can't find it, so he pulls the lane instead. It's going to bounce this dire creep wave underneath the tier 1 tower, so Silent's going to take a bit of a long way around the tier 1. Keep his creep wave in check, same thing as the Clockwork's already done. Even though he did lose the range creep.
Where'd that go?
Yeah, it...
Oh, it's here now.
Hmm?
It came back.
Yeah, it followed down, then bounced into SRF,
Nice.
and then came back to the lane. Oh, farm? No. Clockwork's 8th deny, and I'm fairly certain 6 of these are from Cogs.
Man, Cogs have been nerfed so much when you think about it. They used to cost 50 mana and burn 80. Now they cost 80 mana and burn 50. That's like such a big change to that spell. And really, Clockwork used to be one of the most contested early picks as a support and just massively fell off after that change.
Yep. Maybe this is the reason too why Bobica is very happy to make the most of the Arcane Rune. Cogs looking to lock inside. Always want to fly with the Soul Assumption damage. Undying gets burned a little bit. Stick charges gives him a little bit more life. He thinks about turning around. In fact, he does start doing so. He doesn't really have a lot of mana to work with, so it's more posturing than anything else. Because he can't help Silent anymore, unless he wants to feed first blood to the offlane of IG.
I think he should be looking to suicide in the jungle here. Looks like Always Want to Fly will walk all the way back to base. There are situations in the game where it's faster to actually hang on. Oh, we're
No,
fine here.
he's okay. The Breathe Fire hits Iceberg, and he does no more damage after this point.
So to give you an idea of what's happening down here, this Undying walked all the way back to base. And this walk that he just went on took more than 30 seconds. And now he also needs to heal up fully in Fountain. So it's going to be like a grand total of like 45 seconds before he's ready to come back.
Oh, nice arrow with the disruption into a Starfall. No Fear's in trouble. Creeps coming in from the side. They will not find the denial, however. First blood goes to IAG. The trade-off will be Q. A quick Shukuchi through, then up him. But then again, yeah, there's stick charges available. Not to mention 3 now poison stacks onto the Weaver. So he'll grab the SD, but...
Big win for IG safe lane there.
Yeah, aggressive gets money as well as experience. Now a full 2 levels in front of No Fear.
He got more than 600 gold for that. He got a double kill, and the first one was the first blood, so that's massive for this lane. I'll just finish off on my thought, because I think we're going to see this later. Actually, wait a second, bottom lane. Silent is cogged in by Bobica here.
SRF's got the little extra damage. Tick charge to keep him alive. Always Want to Fly has got Decay off cooldown in 1 second time. And he's looking for the Visage. He won't really claim him.
This thing I was talking about, you will be seeing this across TI this year, because the players have got a better understanding now of the value of dying, actually. There are situations in the game where it's better to die than not, and it's very counterintuitive if you don't play the game very much, or if you don't play it at a high level. You see this, you're like, why is he dying, you know? He could just stay alive. Wow. But sometimes...
Always Want to Fly. They managed to get the kill on Bobica, because he's got 1 point up in Soul Rip. It's very value. They battled underneath the tombstone for a while, and that's why you just saw more and more Undying minions.
And the wolves, too.
Access trade off, 5-hit bounty rune, Always Want to Fly. Came to grab it, but he won't have it.
2 for 2 again.
Yeah, but it's bottle charges as well for the DK, which is probably a little bit better.
I'll see if I have a chance to finish off what I was saying now.
give it a shot, man.
Oh, we'll have a look. Actually, wait a second. Silent's getting going on here. I think he's going to be fine with the wolves.
Yeah, he's okay.
So basically, what I was talking about with Always Want to Fly was he walked all the way back to base, which took like 45 seconds, and then he TP'd out. For comparison, he could have suicided to the neutral camp, spent his unreliable gold, and then he gets a 24-second respawn in your level 2 or something, and then TP'd back out to lane. So sometimes it's faster to die as long as you can spend your unreliable gold. And I think he should have done it there.
Doesn't get the stun off correctly. They need a
now he
little bit
does.
more damage, and they got the scythe available here from Iceberg. He's holding on to it. They need a little bit extra damage, and then it's aggressive, who just TPs over, and now he's claimed 100% of the kills for IG. All three of them belong to this safe lane Mirana.
That was a massive overdive.
They really wanted it. They just want the extra fissure, but because there's no point in the aftershock, he didn't get the initial stun to XSS, and he was in position for it. Q's in trouble up on top because he does have 4 Shadow Poison stacks on the Weaver. Gotta be a little bit more careful as this levels up, and Aggressive kind of knows it. So he leaps Starfall and hits it perfectly. Calculated with the SD. That's 2 points up in the Shadow Poison, hence such hefty damage.
That was really nicely done. Aggressive's been looking great so far this tournament.
Yeah, he's switched on.
He is very hot for this TI.
Bottom lane, they're gonna go after Baboka. I mean, after Silent with Baboka.
This time he's dead.
Yeah. Always want to fly. Soul Rip to help out. Tombstone and the Decay.
Surely.
Okay, no, surely not. The Fissure from No Fear arrives in the back, and SRF, he's going to be the one to fall.
Who do you
It
think I
looked
meant?
IG.
Surely SRF is dead. Of course. It was a great soul rip. The timing on that from Always Wanna Fly was good, and the rotation in from Shaker to get the counter kill. Nicely done from Winstrike in that bottom lane.
Iceberg, Always Wanna Fly is rotated in towards the mid lane now. Is his Decay onto the DK, but Iceberg's got 4 points of Shadow Poison on him. All right, let's almost 5.
I think he still would have been fine with 5 stacks, but he would have dropped really low.
Now, this is that, you remember that conversation I was having with BSJ before? It's like the level 25 talent if you ever get ST to it. With the, actually, not the purge damage, sorry, the level, the 25% poison damage and then the negative 1.5 second cooldown.
You can
So
go
for level
for a
20.
build. You can go for a build that's very Shadow Poison intensive.
Yeah. It just wrecks. Like, you do it so quickly.
That build is actually not half bad this game. It could be pretty useful.
It's a good counter push to it.
It's a good counter push, and it kills Necro. That hero is not very mobile, so it's pretty easy to hit multiple Shadow Demons, Shadow Poison stacks on him.
Great observer ward from IG. This has seen Winstrike coming multiple times to the top lane, so Aggressive just backs off. He knows he's okay, and they know that ES is up on top lane. So Silence, pretty alone, but maybe not so alone. He's actually stolen us out of Tormentor. So the Dominator build in for the Lycan. You mentioned he goes like full summons. Do you rush up the Necro book?
Yeah, you do.
That's your first item after Dominator?
For sure. It's the standard. It's a default Lycan build right now, and with the laning start he has and the matchups that he has, I think it's the item this game.
And the no boots build.
It's a really big problem for Shadow Demon too. We haven't really talked about that, but Shadow Demon hates getting run at by summons. He has no counterplay. All he can do is disrupt himself, and then he ends up dying anyway. So yeah, Q is gonna have a tough time when Lycan comes running at him with his army later on.
And that disruption's meant to be for the aggressive arrow or for aggressive movement in from IG.
Or for a save against Reaper.
Yeah.
If they can manage to use Lycan to just zone Shadow Demon out of the fights, it's actually going to be really, really useful.
Well, DK TPing in with Baboka, but it's the fact that Lycan has rotated over, so both Undying as well as Lycan ready to dive this mid lane. The Observer ward's on the northern side of the mid lane as Arg.
Did that dire scan just miss them by like a millimeter? Oh, doesn't matter. Cogs. End up. Wait, why did he cog there?
Uncertain.
Did he know they were coming? I think he did. Well, still looks like it could be a tower.
Yeah, tier 1 tower's dropping quickly. The Moonlight Shadow from IG at least gives them some level of protection, but they didn't go for the denial. They potentially would have lost too much more, and at least there's space from... Actually, no, there's not. He couldn't reach the tier 1 tower in time, so Lycan comes to the bottom lane to defend against the Visage.
He's a Dominator too. He got himself a Centaur.
Yep.
And this rotation from Winstrike is very, very... something IG are very aware of.
Oh, Fissure needs to create some space as Undying gets stunned up. He can tombstone on the high ground. XSS will be able to bottle up onto that double damage rune, so increased damage arriving. Silent being very patient, not burning his shapeshift.
And this top lane's been relatively quiet for a while now. Nongrada's actually just sitting there with his Weaver farming. We've seen one move from aggressive in toward the mid when he TP'd, but apart from that,
Iceberg's dead.
he
is able to get the stick charges off. Can he shroud as well as Death Pulse? He can. Arrow flies forward. Will hit the catapult, but he is totally surrounded. 4 heroes in mid lane. The only one not there is Q, who's walking back to base. But then you see Winstrike. They look to pressure the bottom lane.
Silent had his helm on cooldown, or he would have taken the siege creep there. So this push is not going to be as fast as it could have been. And in the meantime, in the mid lane, we have a really fast one. Dragon Knight double damage, siege creep, and the Visage with birds. Easy grab for them. They might concede this bottom tower and not try to defend it. It's not the most valuable tower on the map, especially on this game, because they don't really need access to the Ancients too much, I would say.
They may want to worry about their other Ancients. They have quite a nice stack of Ancients.
That's true. Dragon Knight, actually, yeah. Dragon Knight will probably want a stack or two, so could be useful for Winstrike.
Do they actually have a way to farm it just yet? Like,
Dragon Knight's 12.
Yeah, and that's going to take some time. Like, that's a big stack.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you could have Winstrike come over and try and steal some of it.
Yeah, they're not too great at it either, though.
Yeah. At least you'll have the Undying Tombstone to give you some level of cover.
They could Tombstone, Swarm, and use Lycan, and then maybe kill the Ancient stack. But at that point, it's like, is that even worth it?
Yeah. That's a pretty big commitment, but IG keeps stacking this. Like, Q's come back to do it all over again. He just keeps going. In fact, he's trying to get the double stack.
He's failing this one.
Yeah, it's too full. All right, so Winstrike move towards the top lane. It's an injured tier 1 tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
You knew Winstrike were going to get aggressive. Like, they want to make the most of always want to fly. 3 points up in that tombstone. Every time it's on cooldown, you're like wondering, okay, so what's the point of this Undying? And it will be a straight up tower trade. SRF's taking the bottom tier 1.
They could try to defend if they wanted to, actually.
They had the level 6 on Clockwork, so they have initiation.
Dire's top tower.
But they don't have the Moonlight Shadow anymore. It was burned by aggressive to escape the scouting of Winstrike.
They will just trade. I think there was a possible play there with some flanking move with a couple of TPs and a Moonlight Shadow or smoke.
They actually stole the siege creep, so SRF can keep going.
Yeah.
He's going to push to the tier 2.
They're just like, okay, guys, well, we're faster than you if you're not using Lycan to push with, and they're not. Sound is farming jungle. He's their fastest pushing hero, and he's not part of it, so IG are just quicker.
Yep.
They almost get the tier 2 at the same time that Winstrike get the top tier 1.
I think they're actually getting the tier 2.
I mean, they were almost getting it at the same time. Yeah, they're really fast. They could force high ground, force the enemy team back, or look for this opening in mid.
Yep, Silent. He's going to go into the shapeshift form. Disruption comes down. He should already be in wolf form. The arrow, it connects onto one of the small creeps in Q. Well, the army of Necrobooks ran towards him, so Silent gets the kill. And Cogs from Bobica try to create space, but always want to fly. Puts down the tombstone, looking to slow down Bobica. Steals some of his life. Hook shot, it misses. Not exactly certain what that was aiming for, but either way, it misses. But on bottom lane, the push is still there from SRF. Catapult plus Familiars. Always want to fly as the one to TP back to defend it. And maybe actually the one to die there. Triggers off the Undying ulti, and SRF has had enough.
He forced a TP from Lycan too. He's pretty happy with that.
Lycan may still be happy to come back and fight, because this will be level 2 Necrobook for him.
That move in mid, I think Aggressive actually made himself miss the arrow by leaping before. He got so close and mistimed the arrow, and if that one connects on Lycan, that's a totally different story. Iceberg, if he gets perched, he is probably toast.
He stopped for half a second to Death Pulse. Now, well, Nograda turns around. They want to kill up Q, and they've got him. The Scythe.
Nice turnaround.
There to just destroy. They had the Observer Wars. They knew exactly what they're up against and the distance of it.
Yep. They have a nice deep Observer Ward top as well behind that tier 2. So if they do look to push this tower next with their Undying, they will have great information to use.
They also see the Blink Dagger on the way out.
True.
So this is now the initiation arriving in for DK. They're trying to keep it secret away from the creep wave, but now Moonlight Shadow. Sentry is down for the Radiant side. They see the Observer Wards. They'll get rid of it quickly. So IG will not push in with the Moonlight Shadow.
Thought for a second SRF was thinking about trying to fight the Lycan bottom, knowing that he doesn't have Shapeshift, but he does find a Dom creep. That's 200 gold. That's pretty nice. He finds the bounties, and I think, was that a 2 for 2, or... Where's the last bounty rune? They haven't all been picked up, have they?
Was it bottled?
I'm seeing 3 runes right now.
Yeah.
Maybe one got denied by a wolf or something. I think that might be what happened.
Yeah, one on the bottom, that would make sense.
Yeah, probably.
Well, Leica moves up towards the top lane, so Winstrike, maybe they feel they're on the clock and they actually should be looking to go high ground sometime soon. Before IG have all their big items, because the BKBs are obviously going to be a very large concern. DK's building into his now. It's a little longer for the Mirana, however. She's going Manta style first.
Dire's top tower is under
Yep.
attack.
I would agree with Winstrike trying to group up and go for some pushing and maybe a Roche here. Use the Tombstone, use your Lycan shapeshift, use the book.
Dire's top tower.
Just take advantage of those timings, especially because like, there's no great item on the horizon like a Shaker Dagger. He's far off.
Yeah.
No Fear has so much ground to cover before
And
he gets
he's
there.
actually looking for a 4-star before he gets the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he's scared of the Clockwork. I can see where he's coming from, but at the same time, it feels like the game where you might actually still, despite Clockwork being in the enemy team, go for a Dagger.
Boba Cup, the smoke broke.
Nice play.
Sees him in the trees, leads Iceberg for once, can kill off one of these cogs. And Bobica's already beginning his TP out, and Winstrike go over towards Roshan.
Yep.
Clockwork Rocket can continuously scout this out.
They're pretty far away, though.
Yeah, they
I
are.
actually think they just get this.
Can they... Well, yeah, the Clockwork already TP'd out. He's the one that could TP to the shrine and then just jump down, but that's why Winstrike left an Observe Ward behind it and the Illusion Rune from Weaver seeing it all.
They're way too slow here, IG.
Aegis, guys, did somebody forget? Okay, it's Iceberg.
Yeah, they don't want to take it on Lycan because he's a transformation hero, so
Yep.
one of the worst Aegis carries in the whole game.
Necrobook's jumping forward, XSS goes for it, the arrow, Iceberg taking it, full style, just into the front for the familiar stones. Iceberg, he's able to get the Ghost Shroud off, he gets the Scythe off, but the SD saving the Dragon Knight from the Reaper's Scythe. Aegis Immortal's already going to burn, but XSS loses his life, and now Silent into shapeshift form, chasing down Q. He's got the higher levels up with the Necrobooks. He can turn his attention over towards at least the Visage, running up and away, slowed down. Familiars can be his saver. Yeah, they actually can't close any... Okay, now they can. Non-Grata has arrived inside the lane. They don't have the extra stun, but Ishikuchi's in front, body blocks to get in range of No Fear's Fissure. And Iceberg on a killing spree,
Radiant's bottom tower.
but instantly aggressive, goes towards the bottom lane. He's trying to turn this movement around, brings more people home, and I'm always going to fly, knows he has to commit. Keep aggressive off this tower. Ashley, so they can jump in. XSS blinks forward, gets the stun over an Iceberg. Familiar chaining some once again. Ghost Shroud, this time from Iceberg, able to come off, and he's got 21 charges available. The arrow flies forward, but it only soaks up one of the minions. Now Iceberg in more and more trouble with Familiar. It blocks him off. Aggressive and XSS. XSS will stay with him. Iceberg, damn, this guy's got so much regeneration, but then again, the Shadow Poison stacks. It got bigger. No Fear can hit the Echo Slam. Good damage into the backlines, helps Silent get the kill onto XSS, but now Bobica wants a piece of the pie too. The stun from No Fear. The space couldn't be created. That battery assault was able to move around No Grata and connect over into No Fear. Hence the kill. Arrow SD will not connect properly. That's why SRF in the back lines looking for Silent. Non Grata working with these Necrobook units, even though Lycan, well, where is he? He's still trying to, actually, no, he's going to turn back into the fight. Aggressive Q underneath the tier 2 tower maybe is enough to give up the Ghost. Chase down the Familiars instead and get those kills. Missing uphill doesn't help, though.
Did you see how fast the Visage died to Necrobook?
Oh, yeah.
That was Necrobook and Weaver just tearing him apart from full HP. He's got to be really, really careful.
Under attack.
I'm not sure if there's an item build he should go for instead of this. If there's a lot of value, I kind of will like to see him finish the Crest. I think the evasion in this game is just super valuable when you look at what he's facing up against. Would keep him way tankier than this, but he's only got the value medallion and is going into the Aghanims, which is, you know, the logic for that ain't bad either. If your hero's going to die, at least you have 3 birds, or, you know,
His stun control
raw
earlier.
health is nice too.
His stun control earlier on was pretty damn good, though, to create
for
space in the
sure.
fight. So having an extra one and the damage that comes along with it.
That's also comfort, probably. It's the build he's most used to playing, so he likes it. That's fine.
Well, Winstrike can be very happy with the situation. 4,000 gold lead, 5,000 in the experience, and they're looking for more. Looking for the runes, but it's a little late.
The Roche fight for them was definitely really, really good. That's kind of what's blown this game open. They got the team fight afterwards that IG chose to take fighting into the Aegis Necrophos. And sure, they got rid of the Aegis, but that fight cost them quite a bit of gold.
It seemed like a really good time as well for Winstrike because they still had the Necro books up and running after Roshan. They didn't lose any of them.
Yeah.
So that was still involved in the engagement. Or if IG just waited an extra 10, 15 seconds, it would have been a different scenario. Even when they initiated, like DK jumped onto the ramp in front of Roshan.
Yeah, but the guy they went on and committed so much on was Necrophos, and he has the Aegis, so...
Yeah.
The fight is kind of a 6-on-5. And the Necro kill wasn't that quick either. It took them a bit of time. But this next time should be easier.
Winstrike now forcing in the bottom lane. They have an Alpha Wolf with them, so welcome to that increased damage, plus 30%. Okay, turn on Howl as well. Sure, that's a Necro hitting at 117 plus 175, but he's not your hard hitter. Well, not meant to be.
He's a pretty hard hitter, though.
They're going to come up. Catapult still got that extra bonus too, so IG, they need to do something about it. The Shadow Poison is starting to push back. DK is not getting involved. He's staying up on top lane. And the Alpha Wolf was stolen. So say goodbye to him. But ES will hold this top tower. The man sent to defend. And an ES that doesn't go Force Staff, doesn't go Blink Dagger, is going Aghanim Scepter. He'll die on his way towards it. Potentially can echo for a little bit of space, but okay, not much point to it. Instead, it's down on bottom lane, jump over towards Q, aggressive, leap and leap away. Q is stranded in the middle of nowhere, Scythe down, 66 seconds on the sideline, and Silent always want to fight. Wow, my! SRF! The cloak has been ripped from his back.
It is such a bad matchup for Visage. It's one of the absolute worst. You just see it there. He got just soloed in 2 seconds, but like, can't do anything. You can try to drop your birds. Like, you need to have really, really good bird positioning and timing. Then you can buy the time maybe to try to disengage. But if those bird stuns don't land, or if the Lycan has a BKB, you're in trouble.
IG's looking for another fight. 3-man smoke up, XSS. His Dragon Form's about to wear off. That Arcane Rune sitting in his bottle did not reduce the time, because obviously it's still sitting in his bottle. But he has the Blink Dagger for that range initiation. The Observe Ward is where they get the information up on top lane. But Iceberg, he runs the opposite direction. He came over for the farm, but they'll jump him, and they'll kill him. Necro down for 50 seconds.
Big kill.
Yeah, good money coming into aggressive. He's already got the Manta with the Maelstrom, and now is eyeing up the BKB.
Fortunately for Iceberg, he just got enough gold for his Radiance, so he will have that in the coming fight. They didn't manage to cut him off on the way there. Still looking pretty comfortable for Winstrike, but you have that feeling though that if this game goes late enough, does Winstrike's support duo with this Shaker and Undying have what it takes to actually win the game?
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried for their later portion of this game. Kind of need to keep riding the momentum here, in my opinion.
It's also the gold advantage. Like, okay, they just got themselves a kill. That was fantastic. But IG are getting ahead. They're taking the top tier 1 tower and the tier 2 tower. Aggressive cleans through the waves just so quickly. He went for the attack speed, so no, I'm an arrow boy. He's looking to do heavy amounts of damage, and with the Observe Ward, XSS so aggressive. This isn't a Magnus RP play. This is like, put a DK on the front lines and see what you can hook.
I'm sure IG would love to fight now if they could find the opening. They know that Shapeshift is on cooldown. Lycan is a special hero just because, like, when we talk about other heroes and, oh, they have their ultimate on cooldown, they're not as strong right now. Let's say, like, an Enigma, for example, that doesn't have Black Hole, or a Shaker that doesn't have Echo. When you think about Lycan, you don't always think about, okay, how important is it that he doesn't have Shapeshift? It basically, this hero is so weak right now. And then when he has it, he's so strong. So there's this up and down time, kind of like a Night Stalker. It's not as extreme with like Night Stalker Daytime, but it's pretty significant not having this. You really don't want to fight without Shapeshift up. And that's a timing that IG could try to play.
Just love how close IG is to Silence. Silence just walks up, takes the Ancients. He's underneath both an Observer and a Sentry of Dire's side.
He's very tanky though.
He is.
3k health.
Boy.
Low armor though.
That's why he's going for the AC next.
Yeah, he has really low armor against the Visage. I would have liked to see him buy the armor component first. I think you should have bought the plate mill. But, you know, he hasn't died yet this game, so why bother?
Yeah. He's one of the 2 heroes who haven't died yet. It's aggressive and a silent. Big one positions. Only difference is Lycan's been involved in 12 kills compared to the 9 of Mirana. But that's still the same percentage of kills that the team's able to achieve. Smoke up from Winstrike. They were out of range of any vision, but already a circle's being drawn on bottom lane by Necro. They know SRF should be around here somewhere. They just don't know where. Smoke to break. It does on Non-Grata. They know where Visage is. Inside the trees. He has TP available. They're even going to dust. They'll see him TPing out, but that's even going to be the scythe kill.
What? The
Echoed? Maybe they were worried they didn't have enough damage to get the scythe kill to actually go all the way through.
Oh, the birds are already got the tier 3 tower. And they're going on the Rex bottom.
Aghanims.
Yep.
Does whatever an Aghanims does.
That echo was completely unnecessary. Really, the bigger problem is they Reapered as early as they did, so they felt stressed. They already canceled his TP. He had no way out of that one, so I think that was a little bit overzealous on the spell casting.
Yep.
Oh, they got the kill, so, you know.
Roshan's alive. Non-Grata's going to check it and sees it. XSS is in the neighborhood, however, on the back of his haste rune, but there is nothing he's looking for at the moment. Silence being adding the pressure on bottom lane. So IG will have to think about defending that, and they still don't have Visage for another 28 seconds. The opening is good for Winstrike if they had their Echo Slam. This kind of feels a little bit odd without it now. They're going to start Roshan anyway. Clockwork Rocket will see it. This time IG are not caught napping underneath their tier 3 tower. They're the ones with the established vision on the high ground, but the Radiant Observer Ward, it didn't see Baboka move into position, and he looked to hook at the right time. But it still comes a little too late. So Aegis and Cheese picked up. Silent will take the Cheese. Iceberg with the Aegis. Same as before. Or at least Aegis before.
This has potential to get really scary for IG now. This push that's coming is very, very strong. The Aegis on Necro and almost Lincoln's and the full...
Radiant's bottom shrine is under
I got the global.
was it?
I got the global.
Oh. Almost the full AC finished on Lycan with the Cheese too. They're going to be so strong in this coming fight. And IG might actually just try to avoid it even happening if they can. Split the lanes. Try to get any sort of pick off to just delay this. And you see them right now. They're going to go for the Shrine here to try to cause a distraction or at least get something meaningful done. That's pretty meaningful. We'll get it with SRF.
Yeah.
has fallen.
And now they're going to Moonlight. So this is exactly what they do.
In towards the mid lane. It's Iceberg. Hook shot forward. Always want to fly. Gets the first decay up. But damn, there's so much follow-up. And the Familiar's coming in strong. Now burn the Aegis to the Immortal. Silent. Shapeshift is off cooldown. Necro books in 3 seconds. And Iceberg may look for the fight. He's looking for one of the Familiars at least. And he will be able to claim it. So they're down to 2. And Silent gets his summons off. He's got more friends, but Aggressive's got leap. Up and away. They want to kill the Familiars, no, they're looking for the hero kill. So they forced off Silent up. Aggressive, he's got another jump. XSS will die in the meantime to Non-Grata. And Aggressive does get away. XSS is the one, sorry. And they go high ground.
They have to buy back Dragon Knight here. There's no way they hold this.
Q's trying to. Wow, Q, he just walked straight into it. Something wasn't right there, and he'll get scythed up. 90 seconds without the SD. Now there's no save
Uh-oh.
for any initiation in Invictus Gaming. Someone rocked the boat. That's a full mid-rack, but it's more than that. They push so hard when they have the like and when they have such a lineup. They can look to take the tier 3 tower up on top. Bobaca's trying to create a little bit more space. That one Spirit Vessel, but they just shut him down. Echo Slam into the follow-up stun. Clockwork will buy back. He's got hook shot available. Iceberg was pretty low for a bit.
Axe time lapse.
All right, that'll be one way to do it. That's one way to give him all the life back again. I was wondering why he had that ability. I thought Morphling was back on the field. Bobaca, oh, he can't even survive. It's a dieback for Invictus Gaming Clockwork. But bottom lane, SRF is pushing in hard. The Fissure is out. Don't think there's much of a defense from No Fear. He needs support to actually hold this bottom lane of racks, but Aghanims will arrive. Jump in, he goes after the set of Banisher. Meanwhile, they're going back in on top. Aggressive will die underneath this racks. XSS will join him as well. One buyback comes in from the Mirana. One's not available from the DK, however. And No Fear just seems to be tasked with holding back the Visage, who claims the bottom melee racks. But the cost is still high. There's at least the best they can get. Sentry and Observer is perfect from Winstrike. They saw Aggressive moving up. They've already claimed the lane of racks, and I think it's time to retreat. Or it's time to kill. Which one would you like?
The Looks like they're favoring retreat now.
Yeah.
So what led to this whole like 3-minute fight that we just had was that IG, I think, made a good move. They were like, okay, if Winstrike come to our base and start pushing us, we're in trouble. So they went for the quick play where they got the Necro kill, but unfortunately the Dragon Knight BKB'd but didn't have any way of getting out of there. So he got run down, didn't have buyback, and one thing led to another. Oh, he did actually have buyback, right? Yeah, he did have it, but Q put himself in a really bad position. Got killed off 90 seconds without buyback, and then they felt we just can't defend anymore. Because I think that trade-off of killing the Necro, losing your Dragon Knight, and then having to buy back Dragon Knight, is actually not that bad in that situation. You have to feel like if you don't make a move like that and the enemy comes to your high ground, you're in big trouble. But what ended up happening was so much worse. They lost 2 full sides, they had to expend buybacks, and all they got was 1 melee Rex bottom.
Yeah. And now they're going to get pushed on the last lane. I'm loving the atomization from Nongrata, having that Aghanim Scepter. Like, you just see that happen, and all of a sudden there's no way to get an instant kill that IG is searching for, or even a reposition to pull them out of a hook cogs.
They seem unable to kill Necro now. That is a really big issue.
He's got Lincoln Sphere to protect him. They can't get true hit now because he's got Radiance too. And, well, IG, is this your moment? Look to jump in from the side at the same time. Look for that ES position as IG are so clustered up. No fear, you know he wants to jump, and now in he goes. He gets stunned up. They'll control him. Bobica, even with the hook shot, they're just isolating up this ES. Now he goes back in again. The scythe wall drops, space created, stunned into the Visage. They'll burn through him, and this is the game. 4 heroes without a buyback. GG indeed. Winstrike doing it in 32 minutes. Very, very solid performance.
Yeah, this game in the beginning looked like IG were in a good position, but this is what happens in a lot of Lycan games. Lycan gets off to a great start with farm. They find that one opportunity and it gets snowbally really, really quick.
Yeah, fantastic performance from them. Cannot wait to see our final game of the day coming up in just a bit. Winstrike versus IG.